folks, today is December 31st. It's the last day of 2024, so we're getting a few things in today, just kind of goofing off until the ball drop, or the parties for the ball drop at least. But I appreciate you tuning in. What we're working on today is we're going to be working a little more on the Sawmill trailer here. We did get everything welded up. We got all kinds of braces in here, and I got them kind of hidden because my dad and I went out the other day, and we went to our local steel supply house, and we got a 4x8 sheet of 1/8 inch thick steel, and a 4x8 sheet of 3/16 steel. Now, you might ask what we're doing with those. No, it's not going to be a trailer deck floor, or trailer deck for it. Just, honestly, too much money. Too much money for it. It'd be slippy when it's wet. I'm building fenders out of that. Now, that's a little heavier gauge than most people would build fenders for a trailer. Usually the heavy-duty ones, at least the ones you see online, they do it all by gauges, and I'm not as familiar with the gauges. I like 1/8 inch, 3/16, things that make a little more sense to me since I'm not a true metal worker. But anyway, they come a little thinner than what I was looking for. So I wanted to build walk-on fenders for this. I want to make sure that whenever I go to pull a log up over the side, or if I drop a log, trying to put it on the sawmill, that the fenders don't just cave in and I can't pull the trailer home, or whatever the case may be there. I like to build them a little stronger than I need to, just right from the start. So to do that, I've never actually cut anything. I've never cut steel with anything but an angle grinder. I know there's a lot of different ways to do it. I've cut real thick stuff with a plasma cutter, but you don't get a real clean cut with that. So today we're going to be trying a few different things out. We'll see how they work. We went to the Home Depot, as some of the kids call it. And what we did is we picked up a few different options. We have a metal circular cutoff blade, and it's about an 1/8 inch thick. That's 7 inch. Same style. This is a little bit thinner, but it's supposed to last up to 100 times longer. It's a diamond blade by Rigid. And I also have this crescent steel. And this is you can see right here, it's for sheet metal. I mean, any type of metal that you want to cut. So it does list circular saws here. Circular saw, angle grinder. I would think any one of those would work, but we're going to give them a try and see what happens, because we're going to have to cut about 80 inches in length, at least, for each side. So we're going to be cutting the full sheet. I think that, just about the full sheet at least. And yeah, we're gonna give those a try. You can see the Kubota in the background here. We've had to do a few things on that. I had a inner tie rod. I broke one, then I found the other one. It's got a little play in it. I'll show you that here. Broke that one, but finally got a new one from Kubota. But then this one here, ooh man, you can see the play in that. No bueno. She's still holding together, and we're still running her while we're waiting for the parts, but had to get that done. Had to do a little wiring for the starter. Just goofy stuff. General maintenance, Good piece of advice, ladies and gentlemen. On your equipment, schedule maintenance. Otherwise, your equipment will schedule it for you. So anyway, we're going to get to work on laying this stuff out here. I hope you enjoy this. If you got any tips for me on this, let me know, because you can see my squares here, my speed squares. I've been trying to figure out the angles. I've been trying to, mock it up, see what we could do with this. And I'll be honest, I wish I would have paid more attention in math class. That leaves me going, man, should have just paid more attention when I had the chance, because I should be able to figure this out. I think I have it figured out, but we're going to see. It could be an expensive oops if it's not correct. So we'll see how this goes. But hey, hope you enjoy. All right, so we're going to try out the Diablo metal circular cutoff. Give that a go first off. I know how they work a little bit. Not the Diablo ones, but I know how a metal cutoff should feel. So we're going to try that first. It's a little thicker than I was hoping it would be, though. It is a true 1/8 inch thick. I'm sure you need that thickness for the diameter of it to keep it strong. But I know like 4.5 inch angle grinders, they're usually a 1/16 of an inch, which is nice. It saves material. But yeah, size-wise. So we're going to give this one a go. If it's not working well, or it's not working right, we'll switch over to the diamond blade, but we're gonna give this a try. A little snug on that. All right, so we got it laid out here. We got it marked at 12 inches here, which is the width of here to here. And yeah, we're gonna see if we can go ahead and use that just whiteboard here. I know it's a good cut. We're gonna use that as our guide. We'll see how this goes. All right, folks, so we ended up switching from the skill saw back to our grinder. The skill saw was doing awesome, but I was just pushing it through. It was getting really hot, and I was afraid to overheat it, and I absolutely love that saw. Skill saw, worm drive, absolutely love it. I don't want to smoke my saw up. So we went back to this, and it's cutting just as fast. Maybe not quite as perfectly straight, but dang close, dang close. Just take your time with it. So we're gonna go ahead and lay out the other side here as soon as I find my pencil. Oh, there it is. I always like to just go up, make sure that my cut's still on 12. Yep. Check a few spots. 12. 12. 12. All right, so we can assume that that is going to be 12 also. So perfect. So we've got we've got the first part of our fender kind of jigged up here. The tape's on there for weight, just holding that corner, but we've got it set at exactly 5 inches, and I believe we're square. What I mean is in line this way with the frame. So we're gonna tack it on and see what happens here. Top is just at 5 inches, which is good. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, so what we plan on doing is I'll end up cutting those again, because once I get the other side laid up, I'm gonna make sure it's square. And I'm gonna get the top plate cut, side plates cut, and we'll tack them all, and then I'll cut the tack welds. I'll flip it over, and we'll do some welding on the top, welding on the bottom, but it'll be easier to maneuver the fender. And we'll just put it back on, and we'll actually weld it. So it's a little messing around, but we don't have a full shop with brakes and tools where we can, presses where we can bend, 3/16 steel. So we got to do it the old-fashioned way. We are taking this piece of steel, running it to the very ends here. We're going to trace what we need. So we got the top piece here cut right, and then we're laying this piece on and measured it up, cut it. So it's gonna, for strength, it's gonna lay on top of this piece because we're talking about walking on top of it as we're milling or pulling a log over or something like that. So we want it strength down. So yeah, it's gonna sit on top of both the ramp plates here and this. So we wanted it sit over the edge just, I don't know, 1/8 inch or so. Just enough that we could lay a nice bead in it. We can tip it on an angle and just like lay a nice bead in it. Just make it easy welding. No sense in making things harder than they need to be. So try to bring them all, flush them up. Go. Looks pretty good. This one here looks pretty good. So thinking that's probably about where we're gonna have them here. Yeah. A little gap right there. That's okay. That's okay. Yep. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna tack that in place, and yeah, then we're gonna start on the next fender. So, still needs a little bracing. We fully need to weld it. We're debating on, I have a little extra angle iron there. It's just like an inch piece or 1.5 inches. And I was thinking about just running a frame on the exterior of this, just to really brace things up. Kind of a little bit more of a way overkill, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, this has a little deflection. Once I get that welded up, I think it would be more than good, but yeah, just playing around at this point, I think. But there's our first fender fabricated up. We're gonna have to put the final welds on it, the finishing touches and all that kind of jazz, but first we're gonna mock up the other one, and then we'll go ahead and just take them off. We'll cut them off and weld up all the rest of the pieces. So we got the first fender welded up, and so we did a full seam weld on the exterior of it. The part that you would walk on, the part that would be on top, where snow would be sitting, those kinds of things. And in here, we came through. You can just see, you know, we just kind of came through on the weld on that. Did the exact same thing to the other side. Now on the inside of the fender, we just did some spot welds. I don't particularly see the need to fully weld the seam inside the fender as well. I just 3/16 steel, full weld there on the exterior, spot welds on the back. I would think that would be more than sufficient for strength. We're going to do a good coat of paint. I mean, rust and those kinds of things, especially in Pennsylvania, are absolutely inevitable, unfortunately. So there's just, you know, how much do you put into something? So I think that should be sufficient for what we're doing on the fenders now. Flip them over, and I'm adding this 1/8 inch. This is just, I don't know if you call that bar stock, kind of. It's just a flat piece of steel, but I've tacked it on the outside of the fender. Man, I lost my words there. I've been working on this so long. Just tacked them on, got them in place. We'll put some stitch welds that go down the sides here, and this is just to strengthen up the ability to walk on the top of it, and then we'll tack it into here once we put it on. So that's what we're working on right now. Kind of got these tacked in place. I got to cut that. But I'm just going to slide it back. We're going to flip this other fender over because we're just about out of gas. You'll see it right here. Whoop. Oh, yep, needle goes about nowhere. But there's probably a little bit residual gas in there. We're going to use it to do this. And then we got to go get fuel. So that's what we're working on this step of it. So, we finally got the fenders installed, and here they are. There we go, driver's side. I'm sorry, driver's side there, passenger side here. But what we did is we did a full seam weld here, and then on the back side, we just did a stitch weld, because I think we're gonna have more play going like this going down the road than we will like this. So I wanted this here on the back to the solid part of the frame, the I-beam of the frame, to be a little bit of give it a a little bit maneuverable there. We don't want to crack welds. We want these welds to hold, and if this flexes and deflects a little bit, that's okay. That's what we want. But went around with the grinder real quick. This lip here, just kind of cleaned everything up so you could rub your hand on it. The welds are a little bit high. I mean, it's a Sawmill trailer. It's not a showpiece particularly. But I'll tell you what. Oh man. They are solid. So yeah, that ought to do the trick. But hey, that concludes our fender build right now. Looks like we're moving on to Ospho, and I gotta warm up the garage and get ready for paint. So tune in for that.